Hello, all, and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
And we are here with a very, very special episode today. We have some exciting announcements, exciting things that we want to share with y'all. Where to even begin, Sarah? This has been such a journey together, and we've hit this milestone. You may have noticed, if you're listening, that there's something that looks a little different with the usual feed today, huh?
We have a new name.
Heyo, we do indeed. Yeah, a new name, new podcast cover art, new branding. It's an exciting time here on this podcast, huh? We have a new identity.
We are brand new.
You made a joke a couple of days ago that we are like that high school rom-com movie where we are the like super dorky geeky kid. Not that Sweet was dorky, but they go through this like transformation and it's a total makeover and they show up at the dance and everyone oohs and ahs. That is us right now. This is our spotlight moment. We're showing off the dance with our new identity, our new makeover. What a time.
Yeah, we look great.
Never look better. Never look better.
It's true.
Yeah, so this is a super casual episode. We're just going to be chatting through, kind of reflecting back on the chapter and the season that was Strategic Whimsy Experiment and where we came from and our journey to here now. And then we're just going to be kind of being excited together, honestly, and looking ahead at all of the fun, new, and exciting things that await us. So yeah, this is a hangout episode. We're going to be chatting away and just doing some reflecting and some getting excited in anticipation for the future.
Jen, can you believe it?
I cannot. I cannot. It is, according to my calculations, I think we're nearly at 5 years of doing this podcast and creating this space for us to just chat about movies. I think we should get into our little time machine and travel back to August 2018. Actually, we should probably travel a couple months earlier, to start this journey. Yeah. Once upon a time, Sarah and I met through an organization that we're both a part of in Dallas, Texas. And we were on a retreat. And what happened on the retreat?
We just started talking about movies and then wouldn't stop.
We just did not stop at all. I remember so distinctly we were deflating some air mattresses, which is the perfect background experience for just a great conversation. And we just geeked out about movies together, and it was just like this little moment where we were like, oh my gosh, we see and get excited about the same things. And then in the weeks after that, we sent so many voice memos back and forth to each other. Sorry to Apple's cloud computing storage platforms. Some of those voice memos were like 10, 15 minutes long, man.
Yeah, they were really, really long. They were. And so we just kept doing that and then went, wait, there's a better way of having these conversations.
Yeah, exactly. So there were a couple movie nights as well. I recall us trying to make mac and cheese from scratch, like wow, ambitious on our parts.
Ambitious indeed, especially because I cannot cook. So that was mostly you trying to make mac and cheese from scratch.
We had our snacks. We had a big comfy couch. It was a good night. I think there was one night that we watched. Was that the night that we watched Birdman?
Yes.
Let's just say we went to bed in the single digits hours of the night. It was very late.
Way too late.
Such a great conversation. And we did it synchronously and asynchronously thanks to voice memos. And there was a moment, I think, in the middle of the summer where we were like, man, it's just so fun to get to dive into and talk about films together. And just why don't we create more of a dedicated space for us to do that? And I guess we might just hit record and see what happens and go from there. And so we had begun to think about like, man, should we do this? Should we do this or not?
And of course, I was the dark storm cloud that was like, I don't know that we should do this. There was a lot going on in both of our lives during that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't want to start something that we're not going to be able to finish. Because I hate it when somebody starts a podcast and you get all excited and you get invested in it, and then they like never post ever again. They do like 3 episodes and then they're done. And I did not want to be that podcast. So I was the negative Nancy who was like, maybe we shouldn't do this.
But this is why I love your brain and how you're wired, because we need that. Like we need it to both be clear and aware that like if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. We're not gonna half-ass it. Neither of us are really that personality type, but that was very much part of like, oh no, like we are gonna go on this journey and we are committed to it. Yeah. And so our inspiration struck, and we decided that our first episode would be for, do you remember which movie?
How could I forget, Jen? We reviewed the gem, the classic beloved film. By timeless. Millions, Christopher Robin.
Live action Christopher Robin.
Live action Christopher Robin. Honestly, it's so bad. Those animals looked horrible. I still remember them. I'm shocked that they don't haunt me in my dreams.
We paid money for that.
We paid money for that. Why did we pay money to go see Christopher Robin? I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but there were some beautiful shots. There's a shot I distinctly remember of Pooh holding a red balloon.
Oh, the balloon
from behind. It was beautiful, but yeah, most of it was trash. But
the balloon was the best part of that movie.
I think we gushed about the cinematography of that one shot in the balloon for like 10 minutes after ripping this movie to shreds in episode 1 of our podcast about how we love movies and want to create space for meaningful conversation. This was our choice. I think it's great. I think that our roots are strong, you know? It's a great beginning.
Maybe we were just, because you and I are both so like strategic, we just leaned fully into the whimsy of the strategic whimsy experiment.
Yeah. We were maybe like, you know what? Logic. I mean, we'd roasted many movies by that point, and we had a grand old time. So it seemed fitting that the inaugural episode would be us just having the best time ripping this movie to shreds. We love it. So yeah, we recorded episode 1, and I guess we should also talk about how we chose a name, because that's as we have experienced from the past several weeks, quite an experience. Do you want to share a little bit about why we chose Strategic Whimsy Experiment and what that really meant to us at the time?
Yeah. I think it really started out as us wanting to make sure that this was fun, because we're both very strategic, and I know that I'm always trying to monetize everything. And so this was just a reminder for us that we didn't have to turn this into a business. We didn't have to make this into this big thing, but we could just do this and have fun. And we were just experimenting and having a good time with it. And so the Strategic Whimsy Experiment just made sense for where we are. It was a good reminder for what we were trying to accomplish. It just felt right.
Yeah, I think we took 0.5 seconds to agree on the name, which is amazing. It was right at the time. Neither of us questioned it. I think at the time it was so exciting to us to have this just playground, this place where we could come and have fun and not have to think about the 5-year plan and be incredibly results oriented about it. It truly was play for us, and keeping that spirit of excitement and enjoyment and pleasure alive. And we were like, let's do it. Great name. Yeah, we really, that was our mission with this. And I think in the past nearly 5 years since then, that's always been this weekly reminder as well, because that love of movies and talking about movies and creating this space and just bringing in people from our lives and having these really meaningful conversations, it's always been fun. And we've always said from the beginning, this line to each other. We've always said, if it isn't fun anymore, we're not doing it. You know, like we have to keep that at the forefront and at the core of all of this.
And I am amazed that 4.5, almost 5 years in, it's still so fun to do.
Yes.
I'm amazed.
I know. We haven't run out of things to talk about. Each film presents new things. The hours of just words spilling out of our mouths that exist on the internet at this point. Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of opinions here on this podcast. And we love to talk about them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been really great. So as we created this weekly space and reviewed a ton of movies, my goodness, every type of movie, we wanted to keep a lot of diversity and different types and genres and time periods of films. It's been so fun to just kind of like scroll back through, honestly, and see the collection of movies that we've gotten to review. We've also had a lot of really great conversations and perspective shifts that have come from, honestly, a lot of our recording times, and brought people, friends in our lives just onto this virtual little space and just had really great conversations together. And so I want to potentially pivot us to our new name and why we chose this. And as we went on this journey of nearly 5 years, what are some of the things that we really found resonated with us? Let's talk a little about that.
Well, Jen, out of a list of, I think it was 103 names that we came up with. I counted them. It was over 100. We landed on Movies and Us. Mm-hmm. We wanted to have a shorter name. Hello. The Strategic Whimsy Experiment is a million characters and nobody can ever remember it, which I get. It's too long. So we wanted it to be simple. We wanted it to be short. We wanted it to be memorable. We wanted it to be clear in the title, exactly what this podcast is about. And Movies and Us sums it up pretty nicely, because we talk about movies, in case you were unaware. And we have found the more conversations that we have, the more that we are able to connect to each other and the world around us, and just valuing stories not only as an artistic form, but as a point of connection, and about how we are all able to relate to stories. And as we discuss them and unpack them, then we are able to better relate with each other. So we landed on Movies and Us.
I love it. Yes. That piece that you just shared around it being a vehicle and a point of connection for us as people, with each other, with the film and the people in the film and the creators behind the film, like all of that synergy and connection points that are formed through this piece of art is ultimately what we found to be the most captivating. And I just think that there's so many conversations that we've had together or that we've invited people into where I'm like, wow, like just the curiosities about like why a character resonated with you and didn't with me, or why a certain like moment stood out to you so much and a different moment stood out to somebody else. Like we bring ourselves to the movies that we experience, but we also are in ways taking off our perspectives and adopting those of the creators too, and seeing the world through their eyes as well. And so that those connection points that are formed in every direction and plane is ultimately so cool to us. So Movies and Us, simple, straightforward. It's about the movies, like you mentioned, but it's also ultimately about how those movies impact us and shape us and connect us with each other. So it's exciting. It's really exciting. I love how much the name reflects our mission.
Yeah, we nailed it. We did a great job, Jen. I'm really proud of us.
And it's not a million syllables. So
it's not a million letters. Oh my gosh. It's hopefully easy to remember.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things that we talked about too is that the and us part is really indicating us, meaning us as a collective, us as people, and not just you and I. That's not who the us refers to, but really that like anyone is welcome to this conversation. We all are able to create community and connections with people through talking about films in our own lives. So the us is truly all of us, not just Jen and Sarah, but all of us that experience film and have those relationships in our lives.
And it being this space where you don't have to be knowledgeable
Mm,
about the components of film. You don't have to be a
yeah.
filmmaker. You don't have to be an industry expert in order to talk about a film or enjoy a film, connect with another through talking about the story. So I love that this is an accessible space for
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a huge film nerd like we are, great, you're welcome. If you are not so much of a movie person, that's great too. You are still welcome here. So everybody is welcome. We
Everyone is
want you to be
welcome
here.
here.
We're excited that you're here and hope that you enjoy hanging out with us as we talk about a movie and probably a million other subjects at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, we go on a lot of really great tangents. I love them. They're my favorite. That's the best kind of conversation. You know what I mean? We wander down this
Mm-hmm.
path and this moment connected to this other thing and this thing that I read about and this thing that I experienced, blah, blah, blah. And then we wander back to the film. And that's we've often talked about like the best kind of art just opens up conversation and really allows us all to share what resonated with us and how that connects to other things. And the worst kind of art is really the conversation enders. You're like, well, that was good. That's fine, you know? And so we love the fluidity of conversation and wherever it takes us, we'll go, we'll follow. That's the whimsy part of this that we still are keeping alive.
Mm-hmm. And that's very much a part of this. Like even though the podcast is no longer called the Strategic Whimsy Experiment, we still want to carry that whimsy forward, but we still want to be strategic. We want to be experimenting with different things. Like so the nature of strategic whimsy is still here. Uh, but now we are movies and us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that core and that underpinning uh, will always be there. And I think having had the past nearly 5 years to just like soak in and really like live that out and have that be part of our core, I think it'll always be with us. Like we ain't getting rid of it anytime soon. It is part of our lifeblood now at this point here on this podcast. So yeah, totally agree. So we've also got some exciting things that we want to share as well. I think in general, with any rebrand, name change, kind of like a refresh, it feels like a new chapter, a new season, a new era for this podcast. So we're just excited about and dreaming about the things that can come years down the line and where this will all lead to. But in the immediate term, we've got some exciting things as well. Sarah, do you want to share a little bit about what's coming real soon, right around the corner?
So we have a problem. Um, Admitting it is the first step to recovery, and
Oh,
we are
yeah.
addicted to making podcasts. So
Mm-hmm.
we're we're gonna have a second podcast, uh, and it's gonna be called TV and Us. And
Mm-hmm.
what we're gonna do is we're just gonna focus on a season of a show and just take it episode by episode and just talk about it and see where it goes. We are also including a little bit of whimsy in there and having some extra fun along the way in each of
Mm-hmm.
those episodes. So we are very very excited to have a second show and continue having conversations about TV because
Mm-hmm.
it is such it's also such an interesting art form and
Mm-hmm.
it can communicate so much about so many different topics. So we're really excited to be able to dig into some of these other shows that we've been privately chatting about. And so now we just get to hit record and share those conversations as well.
The theme of this apparently is just you and I just diving deep into some conversations on the side that we're like, oh, you know what? This could be a thing. This could
Absolutely.
be a thing. Let's make it a thing. Yeah. So that strategic whimsy and experimentation and all of that is very much a part of launching this and experimenting and playing around with this new channel. And I'm excited to have conversations around this different format of storytelling. I think that's going to be just like interesting and exciting for us to dive into as well. In a lot of ways, the structures and formats of a TV series looks very different from like a feature film. So new things for us to sink our teeth into.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. I'm excited.
And we're starting off strong. No Christopher Robin out in these streets.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that and to find out which show we are going to be reviewing and journeying through. That'll be available out in just a couple of days here. So we're excited to launch that. All right. So we live in a technology age and the interwebs are alive and well. And so we are on the social platforms, as many of you may know. We share our Twitter handle and our Instagram handle and our email address. We have now updated ones, part of the makeover, the little details. So where can people find more of us and just connect with us on all the socials?
Sorry, I had to scroll up in our note because I didn't want to mess up what it was. Okay, so thankfully now our Twitter and our Instagram are the same. So Jen, your whole life has changed now. Anytime you say the outro, it's going to be so much easier. So our Instagram and Twitter handle is @moviesandUsPod. Much easier to remember.
Yep. No spaces, no underscores, no nothing. Just
Movies and Us Pod. Easy. And our new email is, get this, moviesanduspod@gmail.com. Whoa, buddy.
It feels so good to have them all be the same now.
It's very
We're living in a elevated new world here.
Oh yeah, everything has changed now. This is incredible.
Good things. Yes, and as usual, we'd love for you to follow us, leave us a review. Our RSS feed is the same, so if you're already following us, you don't need to do anything. We update it all in place, so no actions needed there. But you can get notifications and whatnot whenever we're posting new episodes and all that good stuff to stay up to date. So yeah. All right. Are we ready to officially dive deep into this next new era for us? Here we go. Movies and Us.
Yeah. Yeah, the new era has begun. The era of Movies and Us.
She's dropping lines now. I see.
Just trying to do what I can.
We're excited for this new chapter, this new era, and we're just so glad that you've all been with us on the journey of Strategic Whimsy Experiment for the past nearly 5 years. It's just been such an adventure, and we're going to continue to have a grand old time here together in this little virtual space that we've created for all of us together to hang out in. So we will be back in a couple of days with our new episode, and we're going to have some good guests on that one as well. In the spirit of the and us, there will be many us's that are going to be part of that conversation. So we are excited to see you soon and be along with this journey with us.